All right, U.S. Attorney General Pam Bondi will be sworn in today. She takes over the Department of Justice a day after multiple federal lawsuits were filed by FBI agents and employees who investigated January 6th. They are trying to stop the public release of their names as part of a new DOJ investigation into the Capitol riot prosecutions. Let's bring in CBS News Department of Justice correspondent Scott MacFarlane. Scott, I recall during Pam Bondi's confirmation hearing, she was asked very specifically about these types of situations. In other words, using politics as retribution for the work that the FBI, the Federal Bureau of Investigation, was conducting at the request, certainly, of the Department of Justice and the Attorney General, Merrick Garland. She indicated that the Department of Justice would not be used in a political fashion. So how is she considering what is happening right now at the FBI?
This is quite a 24 hours, Vlad. A new attorney general is going to walk into the building today, take over the reins of the nation's law enforcement apparatus, bring in likely a whole bunch of new staff who we will see for the first time today. And she's doing it during a day in which the FBI is in turmoil. She's coming in amid a political and a professional brush fire. The FBI has 5,000 or so of its agents and employees who are worried their names are on a list that is circulating inside Pam Bondi's new agency and that it is at risk of being leaked or released to the public, putting them on a target list for harassment, threats, and violence, including their families. That's the first day Pam Bondi is walking into. A reminder about these lawsuits that have been filed against the Department of Justice by some of their own FBI agents. They allege that the Department of Justice has required their names to be named as part of the January 6th investigation, and that list is going to be sent to the bosses at the Department of Justice for possible employment actions, possible firings or forced resignations simply for being part of that investigation. They say it's a violation of their privacy, a violation of due process, but most vitriolically in their lawsuits, they're arguing that they're now a target list, that people will come after them for being part of the January 6th investigations. Pam Bondi will have to get her hands around that issue and what to do next with that list and those lawsuits as she approaches the new job as the nation's Attorney General.
Yeah, Scott, it sort of is just, I don't know, to me it's commonsensical that you would not want to release those names of those agents unless the goal was, as they are suggesting, for them to be targeted, either on social media or by people who would seek to do them harm. And also, I wonder if the Attorney General, I'm sure she's considering this, what this might do to recruiting efforts. If you are going to join an organization, and let's remember, Scott, as you know better than I do, these agents are not just working on this one thing. These agents are involved in their careers in multiple investigations, oftentimes undercover, to go after some really, really, really bad people. The idea of putting their names out there for all the public to know is something that she's going to have to grapple with, in addition to what that might mean for recruiting efforts down the line.
This is an absolute, utter mess. In the past 72 hours or so have really broken some of the faith in this institution. It can't be repaired quickly, no matter what happens next. Whether Pam Bondi decides to release publicly the names of all the FBI employees who were part of the January 6th investigations, or whether Pam Bondi takes out that piece of paper, crinkles it up and throws it in a trash can and says, we're done with this type of stuff. No matter what happens next, there's already been damage incurred. There's been a message sent to FBI employees nationwide, according to sources speaking with CBS News, that you have to be careful what cases you investigate moving forward, that they can't displease the president or his close allies. That is a chilling message that goes against the DNA of the FBI, and it's been sent already, no matter what happens next. But your argument is, if you're Pam Bondi, is what good is there in releasing this list? Maybe there's a political advantage to it. Maybe there's a mandate to do it. But the practical impact is potentially catastrophic for those agents and their day job, which is part of terror task forces, child trafficking units, gun units, violent crime units. They are distracted, and potentially you could lose them from those vital missions.
All right, Scott, before we let you go quickly, you've got some new reporting on threats being made to members of Congress. Tell me about that.
Oh, by the way, threats against the Congress and the U.S. Capitol complex have hit a new high in 2024. More than 9,000 of them have been investigated by U.S. Capitol Police, according to an investigation by CBS News and a federal report issued. That's up from 8,008 in 2023, the largest number for a single year on record for the Capitol Police, save for 1 year, 2021, which is a bit of a different kind of year because of the insurrection. This is 3 times more threat investigations than Capitol Police had just 7 or 8 years ago. They are trying to figure out how to deal with that fire hose, how to protect members of Congress at what is clearly a distinctively toxic and politically violent moment.
Boy, oh boy, the shroud of the dark side has fallen. Scott MacFarlane reporting for us. Thank you very much.